Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to make another kind of pre-ortho video or a biotrainer video or an eruptive guidance biotrainer video. And if you want to know more what eruptive guidance means or biotrainers or how these things work, I have a lot of content on this already. You can just go into my YouTube channel, Straightsmile Solutions, and you can put in those keywords, or you can go to my phase 1 course, which is available. If you go to my website, Straightsmile Solution, go to courses. It's a really affordable course. It's only $500 for, I believe that one's 13 CE units on demand. You have up to a year to finish the course, and I think you'll find it really valuable. It's the same content that's in my YouTube channel in the phase 1 playlist, which is available on the homepage if you scroll down, except for whenever you have a playlist within YouTube, it just kind of shuffles and it's not in any like logical order. So, and there's a lot of extra stuff. You probably have like 80 hours in the playlist, whereas I've trimmed it down to what you actually need to know, 13 hours in a logical order, and you get CE. So really up to you. I don't care how you get the information, but I just wanted to give you the two options. But I want to talk a little bit more about success. And first of all, I have to be very careful. I'm not going to name any brands in this video. There are a few that are out there. Some I'm more familiar with than others. Some I've seen or done a lot of cases, others I have not, only because maybe they're not quite as accessible, or I don't want to pay for a course for something that I think costs $10 to make. There is one company, which I'm not going to mention, that I did used to lecture for, and I was on their exec team for a couple years. And at that time, I actually really liked the company. But unfortunately, I found as an orthodontist that the way that I would use those wasn't lining up with the way they use them, and the promises they made didn't line up what I think was, and what I saw was possible. But I think it still had value, just in a different direction, if that makes sense. So it was nothing bad. But because of that, unfortunately, it got into some litigation, basically legal stuff. So I'm not going to mention that company, but I am going to lightly mention what it does, so you get an idea of what I would do to make it successful. So first of all, anytime you have a biotrainer, you got to figure out, is it a biotrainer that you're trying to do something like retrain the tongue or something like that, or get rid of a habit? Okay. Or are you trying to make the teeth straighter? And if you're trying to make the teeth straighter, then usually there's a series of biotrainers that you need to go through. And one of them is usually eruptive guidance. That means there's little parking lots for the teeth. And it's based on size. And in true honesty, it does work. But you have to start really early, like really early. And this is where my opinion differs from some of the companies that are out there. I'm talking like 2, 3, 4, 5, not 7, 8, 9, 10. I've seen enough cases that I know that it does work in certain cases. Now, if it's a very severe case, it might not work even if you start that early. The other thing is it has to be worn not only every night, and this is where we're going to go into passive wear versus active wear. Passive wear means you pop it in at night, you go to sleep, you get up. Easy, right? There's even some companies on Facebook that promote this for adults. That's really not going to do much, okay? That's 8 hours of wear, 9 hours of wear max. In a kid, maybe less in an adult. It might help if it has little wings for the tongue to help retrain the tongue. That it might help do. It might help in a situation where you have a patient who's a thumb sucker or a passy user at nighttime, and you're subbing this healthy option out, this healthy tooth pillow out, instead of that bad habit. Okay, yeah, that will help. But is it going to really straighten the teeth? No. The only way you're going to straighten the teeth is if you wear it actively. That means you're wearing it passively at night, as well as 4 to 6 hours during the day. Through the whole series. That means biting, chewing, really actively munching on it, almost like a munchie or a chewy. Then that works. That really does work. But how often can you find a kid from age, say, 4, 5, 6, well, even 6 is even old, 3, 4, 5, all the way to age 12 that's going to do this? That much time during the day, wear this plastic thing in their mouth during the day. They would have to have no life. If they were homeschooled, maybe. But kids nowadays are so active. They go to school, they go to things after school, they don't get home. You just don't have the time to do that. But have I seen it happen? Absolutely, 100%. And I do believe in it in that way. For the right patient, sure. It could be a very low budget, healthy way to straighten teeth and fix bites. But for the right patient, for most patients, they're going to burn out. They're going to rather have braces or aligners or a fixed expander, something that's just a little more predictable, where you don't have to think about as much. But that's just kind of what I wanted to get into. Is that there are options out there if you really want to do an early start. There are really, and these are they should be affordable. I'm hoping if a doctor is using this series of appliances that they're not charging this $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. That's not fair. You know, this thing does not cost that much. And there's really no work from the doctor besides just checking it. You know, you're not installing something, you're not taking things off, you're not tightening things, you're not putting attachments on. So, I mean, I think in our practices, the time that we've done things like this, it's been like no promises. We also don't bill insurance when we do these things. We're not even going to bill it as a D80 60, D80 70, D80 80, you know, anything like that. It's just going to be cash. A low cost. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, you know. That way we're not on the hook for anything, and we make sure the patient know that there's no promises. It's just based on what they wear. So if they want guarantees, then they have to use a traditional method like braces or Invisalign or something like that, or paddle expanders followed by braces. So, all right, hopefully that was helpful. So in a nutshell, I'm not saying that these don't work, because they do, but there's a very specific way, in my clinical opinion, that they work, and it's not for everybody. So when I see you guys thinking that this is a cure-all for this, and I also want to say it's not going to expand palates. It's not going to break the suture, okay? It'll tip teeth. It'll maybe widen the arch so that the tongue has a better position to rest. Sometimes you're going to have to work with an OMT. Sometimes you're going to have to go to ENT, okay? There might be other things that you need to do to finish this case. This is not a cure-all for everything. So unless you've gone to the OMT and they say, this is a great idea, unless you've gone to the ENT and they're like, there's no tonsil and adenoid issues, this is a great idea. Don't put all your bang in this, don't put all your, hope in this, because it might not work. All right, thanks.